Computer Essentials. This is the first unit that we'll start with in our computer applications course. So let's go straight to the topics that we are going to look at. Number one, the introduction part, which we are going to cover today. So we need to understand, number one, what ICT is, and because people usually have this misconception of ICT, so it is important that you understand what it is. Also, we need to understand what a computer is, and also we will look at the difference between data, information, and processing. Also, we are going to look at the functions of a computer, the major functions of a computer, irrespective of what you do with it. Also, we are going to look at the advantages and disadvantages of computers. So the second topic that you are going to look at is computer system. So we need to understand what a computer system is and its parts and how they work. The third topic is security. It is vital that you protect your work, you protect your information against any sort of harm. And also we need to understand what this ICT security is, the various threats, and also the solutions, or how you're going to curb these threats. Also, we are going to look at booting. You need to understand what booting is and the various types of booting and when they are applied. Also, so from number 4, that's where our practical part starts. So the fifth topic is the desktop. You need to understand the desktop, the various desktop parts, and also the common desktop icons. The next thing you're going to look at is file management. You need to understand the difference between a file and a folder and how to create these two items, that is the file and folder. Also, we need to understand what subfolders are and how to create them. We'll also look at renaming and deleting files and folders, and also we're going to look at copying and transferring items between folders. Our last topic in this unit is configurations. So this basically entails customization of your computer to meet your needs. So we are going to look at the display configurations and also the date and time configurations. So let's start with our first part, which is introduction. So the first thing you need to understand is ICT. So ICT stands for Information and Communications Technology. So one thing you need to understand is that ICT is not a profession. It is not a profession, it is not a field. It is just a term. So it's a general term that describes the performance of different tasks, irrespective of what you do, with the aid of computers and other devices connected to them. So that is what we mean by the term ICT. Also, with a computer, it is an electronic device. So a computer is an electronic device, just like these other electronic devices. And the reason why computers are classified as electronic devices is because they have what we call a motherboard or a circuit board. We are going to discuss that later in topic 2. So it's an electronic device that performs 4 major roles: input, processing, storage, and output. So at the end of the day, the end product that you will get is information. Also, we have data. Data simply refers to unprocessed information. It's like information that is not, it is content that is not revealed to you, in short. So that way you classify that as data. So they are simply raw facts and figures about an entity. Also, we have what we call information. Information is processed data. So in short, information is what you see or hear in layman's language. Also, we have processing. Processing it is simply the conversion of this data into information. So those are the various concepts that you need to understand with computing. We are going to discuss more as we progress. Let's now look at the functions of a computer. So there are four major functions of a computer, irrespective of what you do. I had mentioned these four functions in the definition of the computer. So these are the functions of a computer. So one of the functions is input. That simply refers to entry of raw data. For example, you have the examples there. Typing data using a keyboard. So if you're typing data using a keyboard, that's a form of input because you're giving the computer commands, then it responds. Also, if you are selecting items with a mouse, that's a form of input. If you are scanning documents, if you maybe are transmitting a picture from a digital camera to your computer, that's also another form of input, and so on. Also, we have processing. Processing simply refers to manipulation of raw data to produce meaningful information. For example, if you are opening a program, it usually takes some time before loading. So that time it takes before the program loads fully, that's what we call processing. If you're also opening files, maybe you're adding effects to a picture, you are maybe copying and transferring files, then there is that time frame that it takes, and that time frame we say that the computer is processing that instruction. Also, we have output, which simply refers to transformation of data into information in a non-computerized format. Non-computerized format is what you can see and understand. Computerized format is already what is stored in the machine, so it is what the machine understands. For example, if you are printing documents with a printer, those paper copies that you get, that is non-computerized output. If you are viewing content on the screen, that's output. If you are listening to music, then that's also another form of output. Also, the last function is storage. Each computer usually has a storage device that enables you to keep data for future use. And data is normally stored in what we call disks. So we are going to learn that later. So we now look at the benefits of computers. What makes computers to be more advantageous? One of them is what we call storage, where computer can keep lots of data within limited space. If you look at the physical space that a computer takes, it's relatively small, but the kind of content it can keep is a lot. So the more the storage capacity, then the higher the storage capacity, then the more the amount of content it can store inside. Number two, we have speed. So people using computers, they usually work faster compared to working manually. If you look at everything nowadays, it's computerized. For example, if you go to a bank, you want to do a withdraw on an ATM. That ATM is a computer. It's a type of computer. If you go to a bank, let's say you are borrowing a loan, you are seeking for a credit facility, they'll just check your records on using a computer. If you are paying electricity bills, look at nowadays we have these token. You're using a phone, so that phone is also a type of computer. If you go to KPLC and pay bills, you find those tellers using machines, and they'll serve you much faster. So you'll find queues, but they are moving very fast. It is because of the use of computers. So actually, with speed comes now function number 3, which is efficiency. So speed and efficiency, they work hand in hand, because with efficiency, lots of tasks can be accomplished much faster within a shorter time period. For example, if you go to KPLC and queue and you are paying an electricity bill, you will find long queues, but they are moving very fast. That is one form of efficiency, because you are being served, people are being served faster. Okay? So there are so many scenarios that are related to efficiency. If you are given a job to do, let's say you are given like 1 hour to complete a task, then you complete that job before that time lapses, then you say that you're efficient. Yes. So number 4, we have what we call consistency or accuracy. Now our computers, they give correct and exact information. In short, they don't beat around the bush. You give an instruction to a computer, the computer will give you the output you expect. If you give the computer correct instructions, you get correct results. You give the computer wrong instructions, you get wrong results. So never under any circumstance blame the computer. The computer is not the problem. You as the user are the problem. Number 5, we have what we call security. You can protect your information if you manage your computer well. When you talk of protection here, you are simply securing your information from unauthorized access. Also, we have what we call versatility. When you talk of the term versatile, it means that you can repeat one task over and over again without getting tired. For instance, but for us human beings, we are not versatile. If you do something for a very long period of time, you get bored and you want to switch to something else. Computers are machines, they're not like that. So the last advantage is communication. If you're using internet, then you can be able to share lots of information locally and globally. So those are the various advantages. You can still research and get more advantages, and you can be able to add them to your list. The disadvantages. One of the drawbacks of computers, and it's a major drawback, is cost. Why? Because computers are relatively expensive to purchase, install, and maintain. If you go to a shop and you want to buy a computer, you buy a computer depending on the nature of work that you are doing. And if you look at the cheapest amount that you buy for a computer, it's relatively high. And that's in terms of purchase. Installation, let's say for example, you have purchased that computer and those people, they don't have the software you need. So you need to get an extra person, or they look for a person who will install the software for you at your own cost. That means you have to pay for that service. Also in terms of maintenance, once in a while, for computers to be optimal in terms of performance, then they need to undergo some sort of maintenance. So that maintenance, that is also an additional cost. The second disadvantage is literacy. You can't use a computer if you are not computer literate. Just like driving, you cannot drive a car if you have not gone to a driving school and learned how to drive and learned practically how to drive. So even with computers, they are the same. You must be computer literate so that you can be able to use computers. The third disadvantage is health problems. If you use computers excessively, then you're going to get some health problems such as eye problems. These are usually caused by radiations from the screen. So there's what we call refrain strain injury. This occurs if you are typing for longer periods without rest. So at the end of the day, you will start feeling pain in your fingers, your arms, etc. So that's what we call refrain strain injury. Also, you may experience some backaches and so on. So it is usually recommended that if you use a computer and you feel like you are tired, or you're feeling like you are feeling some pain maybe in your body, your eyes, it is always important to take frequent breaks, so that at least you can relax your body and resume with your work. You can embark on other things and resume with your work. Number 4, there is what we call data loss. If you don't manage your computer well, then you can lose a lot of information, a lot of vital information. So This information could be due to number one, malware attacks. Malware simply refers to malicious software like viruses, trojans. We're going to discuss that under security. Also, there is what we call hacking. Someone can accidentally access your computer, start removing files, transferring them from one point to another without your knowledge. So at the end of the day, you end up losing your work. Also, the last disadvantage is explicit content. If you're using internet, if your computer has got internet, then this explicit content is accessible and it can be downloaded, such as this pornographic material like videos, movies, and they usually corrode the moral values of human beings. So that marks the end of this particular lesson, and I will see you in our next lesson.